welcome to today's show. I am Scot Ferrell. Thanks so much for stopping by. Great topic today. Is black fatigue real? Yeah, we're going to digest, diagnose, and lay out some facts today. Hopefully it'll help people get by their stereotypes and probably some of the things they thought were true weren't true and some of the things they didn't think were true were. But we'll get to the bottom of that. Before we do, got to get to today's sponsor, Dirt Pour Coffee. Some of the best coffee I've ever had. Located in downtown Somerville. Great staff. Heather, the owner, wonderful lady. So if you want good coffee, good chicken salad, good cheese straws, wonderful, just like the ones I used to get at my grandma's house, then you've found the place. So next time you're in downtown Somerville, Georgia, hot spot, great metropolis here, population several, but they have great coffee, and you'll want to stop in because you'll feel better. You'll look better because coffee always cheers me up, and you'll have a great time. So Somerville is the place to be, and Dirt Pour is the place to get your coffee. All right, today's topic, man, several people have asked me to do this because they know how I feel about race relations and how we view the world through skin color, or I don't. So I'll do a little background on me, then I'm going to handle today's question. Is black fatigue real? While you ruminate on that, I'll give you a little background on me so you don't think I'm the next coming of David Duke. When I was a kid, the lady who raised me was black. As I got older, the only girls I wanted to date were black. Why? Well, I considered my mom to be black. So the first person to love me, the first person to take care of me for the first at least 2 years of my life, maybe 3, was black. So I always tell people the first smell I ever had was cocoa butter. But I was hooked because that's my mom. I still consider her to be my mom. And then another one came, and another lady. I'm not using names today. Same thing. Still consider these two to be my mom. I never really attached to my mom because of that, because I had a nanny when I was a child. My nanny's the one I attached to. That's the one I'm still attached to. Hopefully she's still living. I have not been able to find her. I have looked. So if you're a nanny, remember, you do make a difference. And those kids don't forget you, and you make a huge impact on their lives, and I can say that. So, and as I got older, I didn't want to watch American Bandstand. I wanted to watch Soul Train because that's where all the girls were. And instead of watching this show, I'd watch Good Times. Again, that's where the girls were that I was attracted to. So in handling this topic today, you know I have a lot of experience because half the girls I ever dated were black, or I'd say 3/4 of the women I dated were not American. I like South America and Asia a lot. I did marry a white lady, but that was from God. My intent was to marry a black girl. So there you have my story. I used to be a high school basketball coach, and in the locker room, there is no race. It's just kids. So keep that in mind. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Is black fatigue real? Well, fatigue of stupid behavior and stupid people and being a clown and breaking the law, yeah, people fatigue on that. But the problem is we've started to associate things with skin color, okay? Why is that a fallacy? Well, your skin depends on which biology book you look up. You can look this online right now. About 2 millimeters, 1.5 to 3, depends on people. Some people are thick-skinned, but that's it. And then if you look at an anatomy book, and I used to teach biology, chemistry, and physics, you'll notice that my brain, your brain, their brain, doesn't matter how much melanin you have in your skin, everything's the same, which means we all start out the same. Just because your skin may be darker and mine may be lighter doesn't really mean anything, because if we're talking purely biology, we're basically the same person to an extent other than fast or slow twitch muscle. So I have a heart, you have a heart. I have a brain, you have a brain. We're all developed the same way. Therefore, we have to stop classifying things through melanin. I mean, if this were true, right? If it was true that all black people steal and all black people do this and all white people do that, then it would hold true for 100% of the population. Well, I don't know 100% of the population is going to do two things. They're going to live and they're going to die, and that's it. That's all that 100% of the population is going to do. So how do we get here? How do we have this black fatigue, and how do we see things, and why are so many black people on the screen? And well, I'm going to answer that. All right, so let's break it down. I'm going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just keep going. I've got an hour to explain this, and that's what I'm going to do. Always remember this. People are people. So when you see a video of black people, that's people doing an activity that happen to be black. No different than if you took a photo of me or a video. I'm a person who happens to be white doing an activity. We have to separate somebody's suntan from groups. Now, the government likes for us to group ourselves. Yeah, there's a reason why they do everything in groups. We're easier to control. If you can group people into groups and make them do a certain activity, then you have control over them. If you can't put them in a group and make them do a certain activity and adapt or identify with an activity, then you can't control them. Always remember, agencies with 3 letters, TV stations with 3 letters, always profit from race relations going sour. And keep this in mind, and this is something I was reminded of yesterday by a friend. If you'll notice, everything's gone up, right? Inflation, prices go up. This coffee cup went up in price. You know what didn't go up? Cost of TVs. They're the cheapest now that I've ever seen in history. And I remember when the TV was, I didn't even see my first color TV till I was 16. I remember that. So why are the televisions so cheap? It's called television. They're telling you what you're seeing, what you should feel, what you should say, how you should act, and how they want you to fit into a group. And if you choose not to fit into the group, they demonize you. Well, let's look at black culture. Why is it that 12%, 12.5%, 13%, depends on, I got all this data from the Brookings Institute, not a far-right organization by any means. 12.5% to 13% of the population, why are they responsible for roughly 56% of the crime? Not because their skin. This got nothing to do with it, again. So if that's the case, so let's see this. If they're responsible for 56 or more percent of the crime, then what's the problem? Why do we see all these, and guys, go ahead and roll the first video. Why do we see all these activities that either kids do or they're prompted by adults, like this one? This lady's trying to hit a guy with a board because he's trying to clean up something she threw on the street for squirrels.
Stop feeding the squirrels.
In a normal world, does this look normal? Now, let's look at the lady. Let's look at this lady. At first, I thought it was staged because she's really not hitting him hard. Hey, man, I'm from a place where the girls knew how to hit you with a board. But what would prompt this person to do this? Yeah, sit and go, okay, we have a person here. What's making this individual get so upset they go automatically to, I think I'll go get a board and hit you in the head with it. Siblings, I get. Okay, neighbors, I don't. Okay, somebody threw something on the ground and, okay, we're feeding the squirrels. Cool. All right, but he felt the need to clean it up. I don't know the history. See, this is what we don't have. We don't have context. We have a guy getting hit with a board. That's bad enough. Don't hit me with the board. We're going to have bigger problems than he gave her.
It's okay.
But also, what's the history? Is there history? Have they always gotten on each other's nerves? Do they fight all the time? There's more context to this scene than, however, just because somebody's sweeping the streets, you don't go out there and hit them with a board. And what would cause this activity, or what would cause someone to think, okay, I'm going to take this from 0 to 100, like now. What would cause somebody to think it's okay to see somebody sweeping up stuff they left for squirrels? And, you know, my neighbors would be cool with that because that's all we have. I watched the lynx walk through my backyard yesterday. That was interesting. But why is it okay to go out there with a board and go, man, I don't like you, I'm going to hit you with it? And then expect no consequences behind that. Go ahead and roll the next one. Okay, this is another activity. North Carolina, women are facing criminal charges after a teen takeover at a Raleigh trampoline park. I used to live close to that trampoline park. I moved here from Raleigh. What causes behavior like this? Okay, let's just go get in a melee and let's just start slugging people. That sounds like a fun time. I know I've done that in bars in the 80s, but not since I grew up and knew how to act. But what makes people go to a place with lots of people and think it's a good idea to start slugging people when they're having fun? Okay, just keep thinking about it. Go ahead and roll the next one, guys. It's dumbfounding to think. And this one here, okay, so a Catholic church fundraiser. in chaos in Columbus, Ohio. Normally they act like that when the Buckeyes lose. Fights broke out. Nearby CVS reportedly robbed. There's a shocker. And more than 100 police vehicles responded. Only a dozen arrests were made. Again, why are people acting this way? Now, have people always acted this way? No. No, it's getting worse. I mean, Jesus told us in Matthew 24. We're in the end times, and things are going to start to happen. And we're going to start to see behaviors that we've never seen openly. Now, people do this in small segments. But now we're just starting to see the mask come off, and people act like complete idiots. All right, give me the next one, guys. Yeah, we'll go through this. Another one. Okay, look at this. Okay. It's one of my favorite guys on the internet. He's absolutely hilarious. All right. When I was a kid, we'd make fun of these guys because they don't know how to be gangsters. They don't know how to hold a gun. And Crime 101. Just remember this. You can get this from Casino. Actually, from Goodfellas. Keep your mouth shut. Don't rat on your friends. And whatever you do, if you're going to break the law, here, crime tip here. I used to be a hoodlum. Don't film yourself with weapons. Don't film yourself flipping off the camera. Don't film yourself talking bad about police officers. Don't talk about the crime. What is wrong with people? This is why I was a solo criminal. I couldn't trust anybody to keep their mouth shut. Just, hey man, do yourself a favor. If you're going to carry a gun around, learn how to use it. You can't shoot like this, and you can't move your arm, and good grief. Imitation gangsters. Guys, do we have one more left? Where's that at? Yeah, we got one more. Okay, this was my favorite. And this is the basis. This is the basis of what I'm talking about today. All right, I'm going to read it to you. Forgive me. My wife hates it when people read to her, but I'm going to read the caption. All right, so we've got a brother. We have a sister and a brother. Now, if you'll notice, one family, 3 innocent victims. This has to stop. So we have one family committing murder. 3 different people in the family have killed someone. All 3 deserve to never see the light of day. Okay, we can establish that. But how is it that clearly they're not the same age? How is it that 3 people from one family all end up committing murder? Well, there's a reason why they call them crime families, right? But I'm going to go over this, and I'm going to solve all the fatigue problem for you, all the racial issues today. We're going to go over what it really is. It's got nothing to do with skin color. And we're going to go over how this happened. All right, I'm going to give you 2 things that happened in the 1960s, both prior to my birth, just right before. All right, prayer was taken out of school July 15th, 1960. No, June 20th, 25th. Still can't read my own handwriting. 1962 in the Civil Rights Act. 1964, July 2, signed by Lyndon B. Johnson, who was in office when I was born. Those 2 things helped catapult us to where we are today. We took prayer out of schools, said it was unconstitutional. Okay, whatever. And then everybody laid down and let them do it. And then the Civil Rights Act was signed. Was the Civil Rights Act put into place to help people or to allow the government to control people? Well, let's look forward. How are we doing as a nation since that legislation was signed? I think black households, when I was a kid, I never played with anybody on sports teams that was divorced. Black, white, didn't matter. And my team were always half and half. Everybody was married. I didn't know one divorced kid, not till I got to high school. Okay, so why is it now, black community, we have 70% of kids born out of wedlock. Depends on which study you see. Hispanic 64, I think, and then white is, last study I looked at was 59, 55. What happened? Well, we stopped believing in God, and then we gave people a reason not to get married. Remember, you can't live on public assistance as a happily married couple. I used to teach in projects, and the kids always told me all the dirty stories and stuff. And if you get married, you lose your assistance to an extent, right? So it encourages women just to have kids to get a paycheck. And I've interviewed people in the projects, and they told me that's exactly what they were doing. But again, it has nothing to do with melanin, right? It's got everything to do with people. See, people do things. Skin color does. No different than guns, right? Guns don't kill people. People do. I can lay a knife, a gun, and a bomb on this table. But if I don't have a way to activate those three things, nobody gets hurt. Same thing here. So what really happened to the black community, which really happened to all of us, because everything I'm seeing in the black community, I see in other communities, is just focused on a black community and for some reason lived out to a greater extent. All right, so let's look at this. Everybody take a drink, get ready for this. What's the number one problem right now in the black community, white community, Hispanic community? Fathers. If you have an out-of-wedlock rate of over 70%, that means you don't have any fathers. What we're seeing here is no fathers. All these activities, teen takeovers, people getting shot, people wanting to be gangsta, people always wanting to be tough, or you didn't respect me, respect's earned. It's no fathers. I should know. I was afraid of my father. My father was a tough guy. If you ever saw the movie Great Santini, that was my dad. Didn't put up with a lot of crap and, man, a few words. But I knew if he said something, I had better do it. There was no negotiating, and the word no never registered in my dad's life. So when my dad told me or not to do something, I did it. I just did it. I respected him. He worked hard for our family, went home, went to work every day before daylight, got home after dark. I owed him that respect, and I knew my dad wasn't lying to me. Don't do that because you'll get killed or whatever it is. The problem is now we've got women raising boys and girls, and what we lost was, which is number two, is the praying grandmother. See, I was raised by the Great Depression group. World War I, World War II, Korea. These kids are being raised by millennials. Okay? I still say that baby boomers did the worst parenting job in history. Millennials are our output. X, Y, and Z are too. Well, Y and Z are also. So we're seeing how bad of parents we were because we decided to make their lives easier when we shouldn't have. So now we don't have the church in the black community. The church is not what it used to be. It ain't the same in the white community either. So now what we ended up with was babies raising babies. So now you got a group of girls. Oh, God, the youngest I ever saw when I was teaching was 11. We had an 11-year-old that was pregnant. It just baffled me. But it happens. And then I started to see this rash of 15, 16, 14, 17 just explode. And I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, that can't happen if you keep your feet on the floor and your pants on. So go sit on the couch, fasten your pants, keep your feet on the floor. You can't do anything. Nobody seems to listen. So why do they do it? Why are we out having sex, gratuitous sex, between 11 and 15? Well, we got nobody to tell us not to. Think of Lord of the Flies. Think of that book. What happened on that island when those boys were left to themselves? I guess somebody can ask Piggy how that book ends. Same thing here. If you're left to raise yourself with no guidelines, no parameters, no rules, no consequences, what are you going to do? All you have to do is watch endless amounts of video on TikTok or whatever it is about Little League games. Lately, the rash of things to do is to beat people up at high school graduation. And or now you've got the ultimate celebration of, I'm going to dance, forget all the rest of you 500, 600 people, and this show's about me. Again, how does this happen? Well, somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to destroy the family. If you destroy the family unit, the nuclear family unit, you can destroy the entire country. So I believe the whole goal is to destroy the country, have a race war, and let everybody kill each other. But that's not the answer, and that won't solve anything. You live by the sword, you die by the sword is a true statement. Whatever you put out, you have to receive. I used to ask my gang members, and I taught lots of them, but how many funerals did you go to this year? Well, one kid said more than I could count. All right, so let's do a dollar cost average of being a gangster. So we did it on the board. I said, all right, what do y'all make in a month? I think at the time, this was in the early 90s, 20 grand a month, tax-free. All right, so slinging dope, you're making $20,000 a month. How many people you got to pay off? And went over that, a couple cops. I was like, okay. Now, what's the average age of death for a drug dealer in the city? 26. How old are you? Okay. You're 18. So is it worth it to make $20,000, $30,000 tax-free right now to be killed between now and 26? Yes or no? You've been to those funerals. You've watched those kids die. Is it worth it? Or would you like to learn a way to not pay taxes, being a legal business owner, through the rules of the IRS so you don't have to get shot at? Which one? The problem is they couldn't relate to the second option because they only knew the first option. So let's look at the construct of society and the black community. No fathers, so you take away that first level of defense or observation or teaching or consequences. You leave mothers in the home, okay. How's that going? How's the feminization of the black community going? And then Whitlock talks about this. Everybody talks about this right now. It's not. We're teaching young boys how to act like women because there aren't any fathers, so they're learning how to do that. And how do women act? I like Jack Nicholson, and as good as it gets. How do you write like a woman? And he says, I think of a man and I take away reason and accountability. A lot of truth there. Don't women normally act out of emotion? Sure. We have an entire community of people now, not based on their skin color, that act completely out of emotion. No emotional control whatsoever. Cannot take a differing word, just start screaming. And that's liberals across the board, but it seems to have concentrated in one group of people to some extent. So if they hear a difference of opinion, they want to shoot somebody, or they want to punch somebody, or stab somebody, or get mad and start screaming, or start trying to take stuff. Like, again, all these street takeovers, then somebody gets shot, normally their own racial distinction, and then somebody decides to loot somewhere. Why? Again, if you ask these kids, they search for answers they don't really know. Because I ask kids all the time, why don't you do that? I don't know. And then add in the fact that we don't have fathers. We're being raised by moms. Everything's emotional. There's no emotional control. There's no stop and think about things. And then we sprinkle in hate. Remember something in behavior world. Critical race theory is a bunch of hooey. None of it's true. It's just some stupid theory somebody thought up who didn't really like white people. It is impossible, please hear me, it is impossible to be born racist. Why? Well, I'm going to do behavior. We learn behavior. If you're not taught to hate, you don't. If you're taught to love only, that's what you do. We observe our world, our five senses is how we learn from 0 to 7. So whatever's placed in us as humans from 0 to 7, we will replicate. If hate's placed in us, we will replicate hate. Remember my dad? My dad always taught me, race didn't matter to my dad, but he didn't like certain groups of people. The Moonies, who were always at the airport in Charlotte handing out flowers. He couldn't stand those guys. Draft dodgers, because my dad fought in the war. All my godfathers and cousins did too. And he hated lazy people. And then throw in some hippies just for fun. Because hippies were always hitchhiking where I'm from all the time. At no time did my dad tell me black people. Well, no, some of our closest friends were black. It's funny, when I was growing up, my three best friends, one was Cherokee Indian, one was Japanese, and the other one was black. Just country people. We're all farmers. We didn't really see race. We saw, were you a country boy or not? That's what mattered. So now we factor all this in, and now you have a pressure cooker, because now we've homogenized ourselves to where we only live in this neighborhood or that neighborhood, and now we put ourselves in a think tank of people that think like us, whether it's right or not. And then we're surrounded with this all day. So now you've been made to believe that Whitey here, Cracker Man, is the reason why you're not successful. Which again is an error, because, let me go over this, from 0 to 7 we're programmed. So the people we can be irritated with when things ain't going right are the people that programmed us: mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, cousins, teachers, whoever it is. 0 to 7. If I was not there, Cracker Man was not there from 0 to 7, I don't have anything to do with you. I tell people all the time, there's only certain groups of people that can affect your life. One, your family, your environment as a child, government officials. Okay, government officials can influence your life at all times, regardless of where you are in the country. But outside of that, if they're not a policymaker that has control over you, or they're not the people that programmed you, it's hard for them to really have control over you, what you say, how you feel, how you were raised. That's an impossibility. Do an experiment sometime. Take kids, just kids. Kids don't realize they're different, and let them spend time together just playing. At no time is the color of somebody's skin brought up. It's like when you're playing ball in a neighborhood. You got 7, you need 8. You see some dude walk up, he's going to play because we're going 4-on-4, so you got to play. It doesn't matter who you are. We just need one more person. So think about this. 2 millimeters don't matter, so that's our only distinction. Yes, we look a little different because originally our skin, our muscle twitch fiber, everything was suited for where we were originally from. I'm Irish, so to speak. Never been there. And the Irish in Ireland could care less if I ever show up because I'm not really Irish. I'm American. No hyphen. But my skin's really white. It's like when I wear shorts, people think I'm wearing knee socks. It's awful. However, I've got to get in the sun. I meant to see one of my friends one time, and I walked in, and they all put sunglasses on. I was like, that's not very nice. But let's think about the idiocy of what we're doing to ourselves. Remember, if I can make that group and that group hate each other and fight, I can control them both. So what we've done is we walked into a trap to where we're allowing, think John Wick, the high table, we're allowing the high table to dictate what happens to us instead of unifying, being together, and working this out. Because there's no reason for anyone to blame another ethnic group for their personal troubles. That's an impossibility because they didn't program you. So which brings me to the next thing. See, if I convince you that that person over there did something to you, then I can convince you that you're a victim. See, right now, all the talk shows work on victim mythology, so to speak, to where you're a victim, everything's outside of your control, and your people just do things to you. Just ask The View. 5 cows that ought to be grazing in the pasture actually have a TV show and like to talk. At no time is there anything intelligent that comes out of that show. And a friend of mine was one of the ones who used to be a producer on it back when it was still somewhat a show. But now you've got an entire group of people who think they're victims. They want reparations. Got those after Lincoln sets free. They want free stuff. White people this, white people that. Again, I haven't done anything to you. Never met you. Don't have anything to do with you. The key is if you continue to be a victim, you can't have victory. If you continue to think the world is against you, you can never receive anything. Psych 101, Behavior 101, maybe a 300 class. External and internal locus of control. Okay, right now we have one group, so to speak. That's what I'm talking about today. Now, it's a cross. Trust me, it's a cross. But external and internal locus of control. Either I'm in control of what I do, how I feel, how I think, and how I display that, or the external controls me. Well, if you're a victim, you've been sold a bill of goods that the external controls you. So whatever happens outside of my life, outside of my neighborhood, outside of my house, controls me. Not me. I have no filter. I have no ability to control anything I say or do. I'm just going to explode, and I'm going to act the way I want to. That's an external locus of control. Or you can be like civilized folks and have an internal locus of control. What's that mean? The external doesn't control me. I know who I am. I know I'm created. I know why I get up every day. And I operate on that idea. Therefore, I don't feel the need to scream and holler at people. I don't feel the need to take over streets. I don't hit people with boards. I just don't randomly walk up and slap people. Why? because the external doesn't control me. And it wasn't like I came from paradise as a kid. Trust me. They made a movie about it. The stories are not fun. But I understood that if it's to be, it's up to me, right? So I've got to be free to go out and change things me. Being mad at other people ain't going to fix anything. Blaming other people for my lack of success is not going to fix anything. Jalen Rose the other day decided to tell NBA players that they were surviving under slavery as NBA players and getting paid. All right, let's look at this. The dumbest thing I've heard in a while. Connor McDavid, I think is his name, number one player in the NHL. He makes $12 million a year. That's what a bench warmer makes in the NBA. Stars make anywhere from $30 to $60 million a year, not counting endorsements. So look at LeBron. He probably made $200 million last year. Those are slave wages, by the way. You're a slave. No, slaves don't get paid. So Jalen Rose, you're an idiot, but there's a lot of idiots out there with a camera and a microphone in their face. Because why do we keep this going? Why don't we have this eternal battle? People make money on it. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. I watched a pastor the other day talk about race relations. I got to help pastors here. Yeshua, Jesus, is no respecter of persons. If he's no respecter of persons, then this don't matter. Skin color does not matter to Jesus. So why does it matter to a pastor? It's a good question. You have to sit and think, okay, what else is causing this? Well, what's going on between 0 and 7? Gangster rap. I've yet to hear any lyrics on a gangster rap song that were productive. Now, I know guys in the rap industry. One of my boys over in South Africa does clean rap. He talks about Jesus. But the beat's off. The beat's irritating. There's a reason why they record it this way. Remember, all music, the key of all music changed around 97, I think. And now it's all irritating. If you listen to any song, you can do that. So now we have irritating music. We've got programming issues. And, oh, yeah, let's get back to the government. Schools. Why is it black kids are in bad schools? That's what I saw on the news yesterday. Black kids don't have a chance. All the schools are bad. Okay, let's diagnose that. I've worked in black schools and taught there. What did I observe? I observed a group of people that could care less about getting educated. Now remember, in the United States, education is free. The first 12 years are free if you want them. Now, I don't know what kind of education you're going to get because it really does matter, but in a lot of these schools, if you've got half the kids in the class that don't want to learn, they're going to disrupt it for the other 50%, while the whole time that the school's not going to discipline the kids for interrupting the class. So chaos, people can't learn in. Because, oh, that's right, because you can't discipline them because they're victims. They didn't mean to act this way. It's because of that white guy. That white guy made me act this way. See how stupid that is? At least the kids in my class appreciated me because I was fair. I based everything on how you acted. If you acted right, you got treated right. If you didn't act right, there were consequences. It's very simple. But when you have a free education that's given to everybody, legal and non-legal apparently in this country, but you don't want to receive it because I heard the kids, I saw kids getting abused. You're trying to act white. Why? Because they want to learn how to read and write? It's like a school system out in Oakland, of course, worst school system in the United States, tried to outlaw clear English. They only wanted people to use Ebonics. It's where's the madness stop? Now, this is all propagated by liberals, but where's it stop? Now, they want a race war, and it could happen or it could not. We'll see how people decide to do it, but let's break this down, all right? So we know you're programmed to act this way, all right? So now we're clear. Everybody doing teen takeovers to hitting people with boards to whatever the violent act is, 3 members killing people. You're trained to do that as a child, okay, because there's no consequences to your actions, okay? And then now add to the fact that, oh, he's this, we can't hold him to a standard. So now we've dissolved standards when one whole group of people, we don't have any standards for them. And then we wonder why they act a certain way. When you dissolve standards, people are going to act a certain way, and it's not going to be good. In my classroom as a teacher, I never made the rules. Why? Because if they made the rules, they were always tougher. Kids are merciless on each other, and they will enforce them. I don't have to, because they'll narc on each other. And they take it as an offense. So no more than 5, hopefully 4. I didn't have too many. And the kids would make them, and then one of the kids will write them on the board. And there's always one girl. It's always the girl, the grade grabber, who wants to enforce them. And they didn't let anybody slide for anything. I never had to say a word. Hey, man, you late. Hey, man, you know better than that. Hey, man, you go to the library. You can't be in here right now. You just respected all of us by being late or not doing your work or not living up to the standard that we've decided we wanted for our classroom. Kind of like basketball. You have your captain. The captain enforces the rules. You don't. Because the captain's in the locker room. The captain's the one deciding things, not you. And then after all this crazy behavior, let's add in the number one killer. It's not guns, it's abortion. Margaret Sanger did not like black people. Come on. And that's Hillary Clinton's role model. She wanted to wipe them out. Right now, black girls are aborting their babies faster than anyone. You could say that the program's working the way it was designed. People don't want to talk about it, but it is legal murder. You are killing someone. So why don't we want to talk about it? Well, it's convenient not to, because maybe it's what those 3 little organizations and the news media want. If you'll notice, the news media is always trying to push the narrative to hate one group and love the other group. Regardless of how the other group acts, Carmelo Anthony, a guy in a track tent at a track meet with a knife, kills an innocent guy, and then tries to say it was self-defense. And now we have the Black Panthers outside the courthouse ready to riot if he gets convicted. So let me get this straight. It is okay to just randomly kill white people because you're black, because you feel like that white people have it coming. And so I'm just going to go kill Whitey. What problems that solve? How does that make you better? Just like the teen takeovers. Let me ask you a question on those. What's the objective? What was the goal? When you decided to do this and put it all over social media so all the other miscreants could come, what was the goal? Was the goal to steal stuff and kill people? Was the goal to have fun? Was the goal to give the middle finger to the police? What was it? At no time has anybody ever explained to me the goal of a street takeover. Now, I used to drag race when I was a kid. Drag racing was about pinks and having the best car. Kind of like Thunder Road with Grease. But this ain't drag racing. This is just a reason to go burn stuff down, shoot at people, and do stupid things. Why? Oh, because they don't have anybody to tell them not to. See, between the movies and the music and the media, they've all been told that Whitey's bad, you should kill Whitey, you should dominate this, you should dominate that, instead of fixing your own community. Why are black neighborhoods normally crime-ridden? If this has nothing to do with it, skin color has nothing to do with this. Just if that were true, as soon as I got a tan, I'd go knock over a liquor store. It's idiotic how people talk about this. So what's really going on? Why is it less safe in a black community? Think of Atlanta. Some of those neighborhoods you don't want to go into, even if you're black. Oh, we've accepted a lower standard of behavior and made excuses for all the displayed behaviors, whether they're legal or they're not. Why? Have you ever thought the government wants it this way? So you got to be smart enough to go, who wins by this? Because the two groups fighting don't. Nobody wins through that. The only way we win is through love. Why is it I can go to church with black people, and they're my brothers and sisters? Why could I date black girls my whole life till I got married? Why are some of the kids that we've adopted black? Because we see people. Love's the only way to win this. This is a spiritual battle. We think we're fighting a personal battle. We think that what we see is what we're up against. It's not. Okay, there's Satan and there's God. Which side you working for? It's no different than watching Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. You have two factions that hate each other, and the whole series revolves around, and I'm not counting Heisenberg, I'm counting the other two, always at war with each other. Why? Well, it takes a while to even figure out why they were mad at each other, but is that really how we want to do this? I'm always going to be mad at black people, which I'm not, because I see people as people, not black, not white. People are people. You can be a tool. I don't care what race you are. But love's the only way to do this. The only way to do this is for have Jesus get us all in a group and make us get along with each other. Because Satan's orchestrating the destruction of the United States right now. And all they teach in school now, this is why I left as a teacher, is communism and socialism and whitey bad. They really do teach that white people are evil in the school system and that we should go out and tear down every statue of every white person. Wow, that sounds like a lot like Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto. Take down the history so they have none and then build back what the government wants. See, the government wants total control. If they can have people fighting with each other continuously, they will not unite, therefore the government is controlling. Again, remember, TVs never went up in cost. There's a reason for that. So the key is, what do you want to do? Do you want this to continue? Or do you want it to end? And must you pray about it this week? The only way to get God involved is to ask him. And if you ask him, the angels get involved. Have you? What have you done to love another person? I do a lot. Remember one time a kid called me a racist in school. And my whole class was black kids. I love these kids to this day. And one of my boys walked over and he got my girlfriend's photo off my desk. He goes, is this the guy you just called racist? She was black. And they all started laughing. They're like, Mr. Ferrell can be an ass, but he's not a racist. I said, I really appreciate that. And they were laughing. They're like, nah, you're fair and you're mean to everybody. You know, it goes back to what Jules Carlin said, paraphrase. I don't have the actual quote. It's a group and you're not in it. We're not in the group that's orchestrating the downfall, one, of race relations, two, of our country. We're not in that group. If you're the one warring, if you're the one doing the street takeover, if you're the one hitting people with boards or shooting people randomly, you're not part of the group. You're a pawn they're using to get their point across. So if you want to get used, that's up to you. I don't. I would just rather us get along. I remember Rodney King, right? Useless drug addict. A friend of mine was actually involved with those riots. And what did he say? Why can't we all get along? Well, we can't get along because you act like an idiot. See, people are going to be idiots. We just need to have consequences. Tell people all the time, behavior ignored is behavior condoned. Don't ever let a behavior slide. And the consequences, good or bad, consequences aren't good or bad, they just are. Whatever the consequence, it has to be swift. If it's praise, give it. If it's a serious consequence and an offense, give it instantaneously. We got a lot of judges right now letting black people out of jail because they're black. It doesn't matter what the crime was, just as long as they shot a white person. Yeah, that's a problem for me. I always ask people, what are you going to do when the people that have taken it so far decide not to take it anymore? There's nothing you can do if they decide to handle things. Hadn't come to that yet, but who knows if it will. There will come a time to where good men have to do really bad things. When's that time coming? I don't know. Right now, DJT and those guys are trying to stop all that. But again, if you're taught nothing but hate, you're taught this country's nothing but racist, even though it's not. I always tell people, if you call our United States racist, when's the last time you went out of the country? Every single time I come back to the U.S. from somewhere else, I'm so glad I live here. And I've been to some beautiful parts of the world. But there's nothing like coming back to the U.S. The things we have here are not around the world. Our kids live all over the world, and they can tell you the same thing. It's nothing like the U.S. So why are we teaching our kids to hate it? Because there's a group of people that want to destroy the United States. And they found one group of people they want to destroy faster than the rest of them. We all have to be smart enough to know when we're being played by Satan. I used to work for him. His entire idea is to destroy us as people. Don't let 2 millimeters get in the way of your life. You got to be smart enough to go, no, not doing that, not playing that, not going to be absolved in that, not going to do this before it's too late. Think of Denzel Washington's Equalizer. When he put the gun to the kid's head and he goes, you want to be a gangster? I'm a liar. But the kid stopped and became an artist, and a happy ending of that movie, so to speak, for the kid, not for Denzel. But it showed a lot. All right, if you choose this path or this path, which one are you going to take? See, not getting an education, formally or informally, is stupid. Because an education, whether it's on the street or in the classroom, makes you more hireable, whether you own your own company or not, and allows you to talk on a different level. Why would you want to minimize that and not do that? Oh, you've been taught not to. See, here's our whole problem. We have no fathers, no family structure. Trying to destroy that in every community, not just the black community. Then we have no set standard of action. Okay? And then, depends on what jurisdiction you're in, you can kill somebody and still get out if you're black because you had a disadvantaged childhood. Guess how much people gave me when I was a kid? Absolutely nothing. Remember, I asked my dad for a car. He said, get a job. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you don't have this. Go get it. See, I didn't have time to be a victim because I was trying to survive. That's where it is. We've destroyed the entire family structure of the black community, and then we wonder why we've gotten the results we've gotten. Now, I'm still waiting on people in that community to step up. Now, we have some pastors, but we got a lot of pastors telling them they're victims and they should go shoot Whitey. I've seen pastors do it. We've got our illustrious senator here, Warnock. All he does is talk smack about white people. Again, you ain't a pastor if you're doing that because Jesus loved everybody. We're supposed to love everybody. He's no respecter of persons. Why are you a respecter of person? Oh, because you're not a real pastor and you're not a real believer. It's that simple. Now, is this going to end? Not till there's consequences, because if you don't have a father at home providing consequences or a mother at home, I've seen these mothers take up for all the bad stuff these kids do. I lived through it. I was a teacher. Then who's going to say enough? If you got judges getting them off, if you got people not prosecuting them, then there's no end to this. It just gets worse. See, eventually we have to make a decision and go, that's it. You provide consequences and everything ends. Why is it that as a teacher I had the worst of the worst in my classroom on campus and I didn't have discipline problems? Never. I never had discipline problems. Because we were a unit. I just told them, this is your classroom. We got to go over the material. How we go over it, we can deviate from, but I still got to teach it. And I expect you guys to act like you got some sense. That simple. All right, hopefully this helped. So understand something. All these actions, it's not black people doing it. It's people who happen to be black who've never learned how to act. Period. That's it. You can't do something you've never been taught. And if people continue to not teach, you're going to continue to get the same action. All right, let's get to the mailbag. My sweet wife always makes up my questions. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Could I spend an all-day seminar on that? Yes. I choose not to. All right, show at ScotFerrell.com is how you reach us with questions. Remember, I don't read these till I get here because I don't like to cheat and think up answers on the fly. And if you have any questions, you can reach us at every one of these outlets. Also, my website, ScotFerrell.com. If you feel like you do need a little help, we have a consulting company. We help companies and we help individuals solve problems in life and business. It's that simple. If you got a problem, we'll be glad to help. All right, Alicia from Houston. I love my husband very much. There's always a but I can't seem to get him to stop watching hours and hours of sports on TV. What do I do? All right, I'm going to tell a little story that goes along with sports all the time. University of Georgia, when my wife was there, a guy named Vince Dooley was the head coach. His wife, Barbara, got tired of Vince always watching football. If it wasn't his team, he was watching somebody else, or he was watching film. Story has it, I was not there, thank God. Story has it, she took all of her clothes off and stood in front of the TV to see if he would notice. Apparently, he got up and slid her out of the way. Okay, I'm not doing that. My wife jumps in front of the TV naked. We're going to do something else. I'm done with sports. So how can you get him to stop watching them? That's a good question. You always let him go, okay, how was he programmed? Was he programmed to watch sports all the time? Is it a healthy or unhealthy obsession? I've seen the unhealthy take place. Is he neglecting you and the kids? Is it something you do together? My ex-wife, it was the opposite that happened to me. My ex-wife was good friends with a Duke player. They were best friends in high school. So we were watching a Duke game, and I was ready to have some fun. She slid me out of the way so she could finish watching the Duke game. God bless her. I was lucky enough to have two women who like sports that I've married. What can you do about it? Just talk to them. The key is, do you feel like he chooses sports over you? Is the consumption time, the free time consumed by sports or with you and the kids? And I don't see kids here, but I always assume there are kids. You sit down and talk to people and go, hey, man, this is happening. I'm seeing this. I'd rather it not happen. I don't mind the sports, but let's not do it all the time. Let's do some stuff together. Have you suggested alternative activities? Now, when it's his favorite team, cut the guy some slack. I know what that's like. The Hurricanes are on right now in the NHL play. Of course I'm watching that. But my wife's a fan too, so I don't have to worry about that. Everything within reason that does not disrupt life. That's what you do. All right, I got to get to the next question. I'm going to run out of time. Lori from Tennessee. Oh, this was a good one. I just got this one. My son just told me he's gay. What do I do? Throw a bucket of water on him and hope he dissolves. No. All right, was he your son prior to being told he was gay? Yeah, he's still your son. All right, now there's some questions that have to be answered, but I guess you're asking me how do I act? Well, you act like he's still your son. Some of my best friends are gay. My mentor was gay. We never talked about them being gay. He and I talked about behavior, life, love, people. Being gay never came up. Now, when it comes to scriptural analysis, yeah, there's a problem there. My gay friends call me all the time and ask me scriptural questions. I answer. Here's the qualification. If I love you, you're my friend. If you love me, we're friends. The rest of your sexual orientation doesn't matter. I don't choose people that way. So what do I do? Well, there's some questions. You got to have some time to talk. What's going on? All the things that go with that. I don't have time to handle the whole thing. But you don't stop loving people because they've decided to have sex with someone. You stop being around people because they're jerks. Now, you may not condone it at all. But just because I don't condone something doesn't mean I don't still love someone, and they don't still love me. See, my friends have different lifestyles. I've got friendships at every walk of life, people. And they're still my friends because they love me and I love them. All right, hopefully that helped. Next one. Anonymous, oh boy. Good old Anonymous. My son's in an interracial relationship and I'm not sure how I should feel about it. What do I do? That was me. It's funny. My love in high school, I will not use her name, was black. And it was funny to see the people in our town react. Black and white. The older black and older white all told us, y'all can't be together. Well, why not? We love each other. She's wonderful and I love her. Yeah, but she's black. You're still not making a valid point. Again, 2 millimeters don't decide anything. I love this person. But boy, they were bound and determined to keep us apart, and they did. And is there a problem with that? Again, it's only 2 millimeters. The problem is that they act a certain way, not the fact that they look a certain way. Hey, last time I looked, I didn't have a input in the being white. I was born this way. All right, so I can't get a tan. I wish I could. See, I always wanted to be Cherokee Indian. My buddy was Cherokee Indian. They have cool cheekbones and great hair. And I like the dark skin. And they were all built a certain way. All my buddies that are Cherokee all look the same. And I wanted to look like that. I didn't want to be Irish. I didn't want to think about the sun and end up with suntan burn. So what is it? It's no big deal. Who cares? Does the person, here's what you need to be concerned about. Not what they look like. Are they a good person? Do they love Jesus? Do they love your son? Is this a long term or is this a phase? Is this just him trying out a different ethnicity, or is this someone he really cares about and can grow with? I've never cared what my kids dated. Well, who my kids dated. Are they good people? See, I have a problem if they're not good people. I don't care what you look like, but you better be a good person. You better know how to treat my child. See, that's where I come down. And not everybody agreed with me dating black girls, and dated girls from all over the world. And it was funny because my girlfriend here in Atlanta, V was a former runway model for a Ford modeling company. And everywhere we went in Buckhead, all the black people were upset that we were together. Why do you care? I ain't dating you. We love each other. And V since passed away. And wonderful human being. All I cared about was wonderful human being, not her ethnicity. See, we get too hung up on what people look like instead of what they're made of and who they are. We need to look at characteristics. All right, these are the characteristics that I want my son to date. I don't care what she looks like. What are the characteristics? Good, write out 5 or 10, go over them with your son. All right, does she meet this criteria, not that criteria? And then that's how you pick. I tell people all the time, when you're single, make a list of 50 characteristics that are non-negotiable for the person you're going to date. I made 100. I didn't put a race because I didn't care. I really wanted a black girl. And this little blonde showed up. I didn't date blondes. And she met every single thing on my list, all 100. I had 100. And I said, that's it. It's not an emotional decision. It was, okay, I said what I wanted. What I wanted has been provided. This is the person I'm going to marry. And I understand this. You date who you marry. You don't know who their family is. But that's in every relationship. Then you said, what are the kids going to look like? Well, most biracial kids look good. I've dated several biracial girls. They're all absolutely beautiful. You get to cheat. You get cool hair, dark skin, certain features. Man, biracial kids are some of the best looking people on the planet. The key is, though, again, what does he want? Does she provide that? And can they be happy? See how easy this is? All right, if you have any questions for me, it's show@scotferrell.com. Mailbag. I always do the mailbag at the end of the show. Thanks for sending questions. I get some unique ones. Again, I'm not going to cheat and read them before the show. I always like to be caught, spur of the moment. Got to be, if I'm going to be a behavior expert, I'd better know how to answer the question on the fly or I'm not much good to you. Now, remember, if you need any help from our consulting company, give us a call. ScotFerrell.com is how you reach us. The spelling's on the screen. Also, if you've not subscribed on any of the platforms or liked our videos on any of the platforms, if you would, please do. Now, remember, the greatest gift you can give somebody you love is to tell them how much you love them and then back it up with action. All right, I'll see you next time. Take care.